Hello, welcome everybody. How are you doing today?
We are doing quite well. Your cough seems to be, going through.
You catch my cough through the virtual tool.
That's right, through Zoom.
Oh, Michael, let me just get some books. Hello, welcome everybody. Hello. So no, my cough. I've done 3 tests in 3 days. So I've done the fast one and also the PCR, and I haven't got it. So it's just like this old smoker cough. I smoked for nearly 15 years. So yes. So that's in the fall. Okay, welcome everybody. I think we've got another 5-6 people joining, but hello, welcome. Hello from Chicago. And today we're gonna do the last. Ciao Luca. We're gonna do the last of the series of the Vatican Museums. We have explored the frescoed rooms and galleries in the Vatican. We've seen Raphael's artworks, the collections of basically the ancient art and archaeology, including Egyptian art and all that kind of stuff. And then today we're going to do part of the Vatican City that we missed during the other sessions, including the Vatican Gardens and part of the unexpected things that the Vatican has. Of course, with its 2,000 years of history, the Vatican is enshrined with a number of incredible artifacts and incredible objects. So we're going to discover just those. I think we can start. I think we got still a few people joining, but hello, welcome. And we can start. Of course, you can ask questions anytime. Now, just a quick reminder, I know we have explored the Vatican in many of these talks, but just today we are going to explore basically the green and dark brown part. Now, this map is very handy because we could see the size, the dimension of the Vatican City State, which is the smallest, although one of the most influential countries in the world. It's its own country, but it's only been recognized an independent country since the 1929. So it's been just under 100 years. And before, as we have seen in some of the past talks, the Pope was basically the political leader of a bigger state, which corresponded to basically almost a third of today's Italy's area, including the region of Latium, part of Umbria, the Marche, and generally up to the up to the part of the Emilia-Romagna region, the Romagna basically, and including also Bologna, and which is in the Emilia. So basically, it had this kingdom in central Italy, which lasted about 1,000 years. Now, with the unification of Italy between 1860 and 1870, the Pope was basically deprived of his land, of his power. And so for about 50 years, he was about a prisoner of the newly created Italian state. The relationship was very tense. Imagine that in the years before the unification of Italy, 1830s, 1840s, many Italians converted to Protestantism. They became Methodists, they became Lutherans. They basically left Catholicism. One of them was Giuseppe Garibaldi, which was a Methodist, and he had this during the expedition which he conquered basically most of southern and central Italy. He had his spiritual assistant, who was the Methodist pastor Ugo Bassi. So there was a real anger against the Catholic Roman Church, which was seen as an obstacle to the process of the unification of Italy. And in this map, now going back to the map, we have, hello everybody. The light, this kind of yellow orangey part is the part of the museums that we have explored in the past talks. The red part, of course, is the basilica with the sacristy. And then all the rest are basically, the green part is basically grass and gardens. The dark brown ones are the parts with government buildings, because of course, if pre-1870, basically most of the kingdom of the church, most of the Vatican ministries and offices were all over Rome. Of course, with the new creation of this microstate, they had to find room within the walls. Now, the Vatican City owns other buildings which are considered extraterritorial, which are considered like a part of a foreign country. There are 6 or 7 buildings in central Italy, but again, there's not much room. And one of the landmarks that celebrates this kind of new beginning of the Vatican is, of course, the entrance to the gate to the Vatican Museum. We've seen the statues of Michelangelo and Raphael sitting above this gate that enters to the Vatican Museums from the side. I can show you here using Google Maps. And this was actually built to celebrate, again, this deal that basically Mussolini made with the Pope February the 11th, 1929. Now, the gate is over here. I'm trying to turn, yes, it's over here. You can see here was basically a hole in the walls. Before then, the entrance to the Vatican Museums was from the side of the Basilica. So basically, people enter from the Porta di Bronzo, and then from here, there was a walkway right along the palace that went into this entrance here called Atrio dei Quattro Cancelli. Today, when you visit the museums, you basically walk through here. So this was the entrance to the Vatican Museums pre-1930. That gate was actually built in 1931, but let's say, yeah, let's use 1930 as the time of this new beginning. And let me just get back to the map. We've seen this. To celebrate this, of course, new relationship between the Italian government and the Vatican, also a new entrance to the museum was built, this beautiful staircase designed by the architect called Momo. And this is also known as the Bramante staircase because he has similar design to the spiral staircase that Donato Bramante built in the palace of the Belvedere at the end of the 1400s. This is a cross section. You can see the design is so modern. It's like a giant vase. The vase is also a symbol, an allegory of religion. Basically, we are seen as vases, empty, ready to, being filled with the gospel, with faith. And so there is also a theological meaning. And then there is this double staircase. There are 2 staircases, one inside each other. So basically they are on alternate. So this was used at the same time as way in and way out. This is before they built the other door, which is the one that is used now by the visitors, which was only built in 1999. So basically it was built many years later for the Jubilee, when they expected to have millions and millions more visitors than they had before. In fact, before COVID, the Vatican Museums had something like 7 million visitors a year. That's a lot more than they ever had before, when the museums were only even open a few hours in the morning. They weren't even open all day. Now I'm trying to do something here. I just want to show you the entrances. It's, of course, it doesn't go where it should be going. Okay, into the museums here. Let's see from the road. There. And so here you can see how it looks today with the food trucks and the sellers of cheap souvenirs. This is the gate built in the 1930s with the coat of arms of Pope Pius XI, which was Pope then. And then this is the new entrance built under Pope John Paul II, which is now used as the main entrance. This is only used as an exit. And from here, this is another picture of the staircase. It's very beautiful. The design is really amazing. But of course, the complex had changed a lot just only in the last 100 years or so. For example, there was an entire neighborhood outside St. Peter's Square, which was knocked down in the 1930s in order to make the road to connect, ideally, the Vatican city-state with Italy, goes all the way down to the river. And Mussolini wanted that to be kind of a symbol of the connection between the Vatican and Italy. This is one of the pictures just before then, when the so-called Spina di Borgo, an entire neighborhood that was then knocked down, and in order to make the monumental road to access the Vatican. Now let me just see. Okay, I have to. Okay. Behind the Vatican City, it was all countryside. Now it's all look like built, because most of the buildings built outside of this area, not like outside of the central area of Rome, they were built after World War II, with the boom in 1960, 1970, with the city basically became bigger and bigger. This is the actual moment where the Patti Lateranensi, this kind of bill with which the Italian government finally acknowledged the independence and the sovereignty of the Vatican city-state, when Mussolini signed that with the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State is a cardinal that basically acts as a prime minister for the kingdom of the church. Now, this is the view from atop the St. Peter's Dome. Now, you can access from the Basilica the dome. You can walk up there. There's a lift for the first part till the roof of the Basilica, and then you walk inside the dome. There's no lift then. There's nearly 400 steps to get up to the lantern, to the very top, when you can look out, which is an amazing view, although it's quite narrow in there. And from there, you can enjoy a wonderful view on the gardens, and then you can see Rome in the background, Monte Mario there on the right. And so we're going to explore today this part of the gardens. I would like to start from, this is part of the Vatican, then we will start basically from the gate from which you can actually enter the Vatican from St. Peter's Square, and the gardens from St. Peter's Square. This is the drone footage of the Basilica of St. Peter and the Vatican City, seen from the river Tiber. Okay, now let me just get ahead, another one. And again, so we will be entering from here, from the gate, which is right here next to the facade of the Basilica of St. Peter. And from here, we'll basically walk around here. Now, I have a mixture of images, videos, and the 360 pictures, so we'll do a bit of that. But I'll also like to tell you how the gardens have changed and then evolved. Technically, the gardens were part of the structure, part of the former gardens were created in the late 1500s, around 1560. But it's only since 1920s that there's been an increased attention to decorate the gardens, and especially the attention to the plants, to especially also exotic species and flowers. Now, in our journey, we start from here. Now, let me just get to the other side. So we are in St. Peter's Square here. There are a number of gates to the Vatican City. One is here, is Porta Sant'Anna. Where is it? It's down here. That's the little chapel of Sant'Anna here. There's always this wrist guard. This is the gate that you enter if you go, for example, to the pharmacy, because there is a pharmacy, drugstore, where you can buy drugs which are not sold, for example, in Italy. So there's lots of doctors in Italy prescribe this treatments that are not available on the Italian pharmacies. And then right after that, there is this tower. This is where the ear is. The ear is the bank of the Vatican. And it's really a place out of this world because there's these thick walls and literally the holes in the walls, and the cashiers pop through there. Of course, this is not open to the public. Only if you selected people have access to that banking. Anyway, and then there's the entrance from Piazza del Sant'Uffizio, which is here on the side. The Sant'Uffizio, this square here, it's basically, it's over there. Let me see. The Sant'Uffizio is basically, it was the Inquisition. And it has a different name. No, this picture's all out of place, but let me just see. It's basically this one here. It was basically it's still today the authority that checks that the doctrine of the church is accurate, that everybody, every part of the Catholic Church teaches the right thing. The Cardinal Ratzinger was in charge of the Sant'Uffizio for many, many years before becoming then Pope. And we will actually enter from this gate over here, which is the one that is called the Arco delle Campane. Now, of course, each gate, each part has a name. This is the Arco delle Campane, the Arch of the Bells, because right above there are the bells that basically play every 15 minutes and set the time. And there's always Swiss guards here by the gate that you could actually see. And from here, you get into the we're above the, you can see from here, we are on the roof actually of the basilica, because if you take the lift you can go up on the roof and you can look down. This is the entrance. On the left side of the basilica there is the Teutonic Cemetery. This was the cemetery of the Swiss guards, but it's also used by a number of other figures, including, you know, people who have worked for the Vatican and cardinals and so on. It's only a teeny tiny one. Beyond there is the 1970s meeting hall dedicated to Pope Paul VI, which was the Pope after John the 23rd. So from the early 1960s till 1978, and then there was John Paul I, and then John Paul II, and the sacristy here. Now, just past these buildings, there is the Casa Santa Marta is down here. Oh, I have a picture of that. It's this one here. This was a project that was carried out in 1990s, and the building looks, you know, pretty modern. And this was basically used as the guest house. Now, during normal times, this is a there are a number of small apartments, 2 bedrooms, which are used by some of the employees. And then during the conclave, when they gather all the cardinals to the election of the Pope, they have the guest house for the cardinals. So some of the employees are moved out, and then they have the cardinals staying there. But one of the cardinals, more precisely Francesco Bergoglio, Jorge Maria Bergoglio, Pope Francesco, never moved out. He believed that 2-bedroom is more than he needs. He doesn't live in the penthouse that was used by his predecessor, which is a large apartment on the top of the Palazzo Apostolico. Palazzo Apostolico, it's here. Palazzo Apostolico, basically on the other side of the square, is this one here. And the top floor here overlooking the square is the Pope penthouse. There is still the Pope office, and this is where he pops out on Sundays for the Angelus. The Sunday at noon he does this blessing, but he hasn't been using the apartment. And they're just here. This is the Casa Santa Marta, which was built relatively recently. There you go, here. And he never moved out. This is Pope Francis going in. There is also a little chapel in there where he celebrates Mass. The Pope's routine starts very early in the morning. I think he gets up 4:45. It's pretty early. And then, of course, it has a mass very early in the morning where only few people are admitted. And so it does that. And then you can see that at the gate, there are the Swiss guards. And this moment, I would like to take a minute to talk about Swiss guards, which many people believe that, that they're just for show and dressed as, jesters or something like that. They're actually the corps which is in charge of the security and the safety of the Pope. And today there are about 135 in total. There is a commander, and then of course there are about 15 officers and other graduates, and then there's about 100 privates, 100 troops that they serve 1 or 2 years. So every year they have a new basically a training session. Now, to become a Swiss Guard, you must be Swiss, you must be Catholic, you must be single, and of course you must have a good reputation. And the Swiss Guard, they were not exclusively used by the popes. In the 14 and 1500, most European kings had the Swiss Guards as bodyguards. This is because the Swiss had a way of doing their service that was pretty unique. Now, most mercenaries in Europe in the 1500, before national armies were created, they were fighting for money. So very often they could be bribed, and they were fighting for the people paying the best pay, but not the Swiss. Once committed, the Swiss, they never betray their employers. So they were 100% reliable. And for example, the unification of Italy, the King of Naples was betrayed by most of his own officers and troops, but not by the Swiss. Hundreds of them